Imagine being born into a world where your first breath isn't a celebration, but an examination to decide whether you deserve to continue breathing. This was the beginning of life in ancient Sparta, a society built on discipline, fear, and an unbreakable devotion to strength. For the Spartans, childhood was not a time of innocence, it was a test. A lifelong trial designed to shape every boy into a soldier and every girl into a symbol of endurance and obedience. But before any child could enter this brutal world, they first had to survive the most unforgiving ritual of all. Every newborn was taken from their mother and carried to a council of elders known as the Gerousia. These men, veterans of war and guardians of Spartan law, examined the infant's body in complete silence. They looked for weakness, for deformities, for anything that suggested the child would not grow into a warrior capable of serving the state. If the elders found the baby strong, the child was returned to the family. If they found flaws, the infant was taken to a place called the Apothetai, a rocky chasm at the base of Mount Tegetos, where the child was left to die. To us, this sounds unthinkable, but to the Spartans, it was necessary. A society built on war could not afford compassion. Weakness was a threat to survival. For the infants who survived, the world did not grow kinder. It grew harsher. Spartan children were raised not with affection, but with expectation. Their families taught them silence, obedience, and endurance. Crying was discouraged. Fear was mocked. Pain was ignored. At the age of 7, childhood as we understand it ended. Spartan boys were taken from their families and placed into the Agoge, a state-run system designed to erase softness and build warriors through suffering. The first lesson of the Agoge was simple. Your life no longer belongs to you. Boys slept on hard reeds they were forced to gather with their bare hands. They were given a single cloak for the entire year, expected to endure cold winters without complaint. Food was deliberately scarce. Hunger was not an accident. It was training. Spartan boys were encouraged to steal to survive, but punished severely if caught, not because stealing was wrong, but because failure was unacceptable. Violence was normal. Older boys were encouraged to beat younger ones to toughen them. Fights broke out daily, and instructors watched silently, intervening only when death was near. A Spartan boy who showed fear or hesitation brought shame on his entire unit. Discipline was absolute. The Agoge turned children into tools, weapons forged through suffering. But even this was not the darkest part. At 12, many boys underwent the crypteia, a secret ritual whispered about even in ancient times. In the darkness of night, boys were sent into the countryside armed only with knives. They were ordered to survive on their own, to stalk the land like predators, and to kill any helot who appeared too bold, too strong, or too defiant. It wasn't war, it wasn't training, it was psychological shaping, a method designed to force a child to cross a moral line they could never step back from. The Spartans believed that only through brutality could loyalty be created. Only through fear could obedience be guaranteed. And only through suffering could perfect soldiers be made. Girls, though treated differently, faced their own demands. Spartan women were expected to be strong, resilient, and fearless. They trained physically, ran, wrestled, and endured hardships, all for one purpose: to produce stronger children for the state. Even motherhood was not theirs alone. It was a duty to Sparta. This was the world that created the warriors we remember today. A society that sacrificed softness for survival, a culture that demanded perfection and discarded the weak. And yet, for all its brutality, Sparta produced something the ancient world had never seen. An army feared by empires, admired by enemies, and immortalized in legend. But behind that legend were children who grew up in a world without comfort, without choice, and without mercy. The price of Spartan greatness was paid not in battles, but in the lives of those too young to understand the system they were born into. We celebrate the Spartans as heroes, but their strength was shaped by darkness. A darkness that began at birth in a test that decided who lived and who died.